which is nice. Guys probably keep them in rotation. Charging more content would be a problem. I think it's a value proposition. Like every time that you charge for content, people are going to wonder, like, well, why wasn't this in the base game or whatever, right? And like whenever you add in DLC, it has to be really big, or people aren't going to care about it, or something like that. I think also the New World community is very much like that. Just a second. Shit. Okay. Exciting gameplay. Pog F gameplay. No, I was responding to a text message. This MMO's not really interested in any at the moment. Sag. I really think that from what I've heard about Lost Ark, and you know, I'm contextualizing this. From what I've heard about Lost Ark, it does seem like a good game. Like, it actually does seem like a good game. It's growing, etc. So hopefully, I plan on playing it, and I will play it very seriously. My understanding with Lost Ark is they have like a founders package that does expedite some things, like you can play the game a few days early, etc. But besides that, they run on effectively the same system that like Final Fantasy or WoW does, where you can pay monthly for the game and it works, like the game plays better. But if you don't play monthly, you can still play the game, but it's just you get resources less quickly, and just in general it's not as good. You can buy raid resets. Yeah, it's like BDO system, exactly. See, if you can buy raid resets, I think that that'll be really bad for an NA audience. Yeah. It's literally pay to win if it's true. So yeah, you can't buy raid resets. What the fuck? See, this is the thing with Lost Ark, is that there's so much misinformation with the game. That's why I haven't even really tried to discern what's real and what's not. And I just want to play it and try it out for myself. Like, I think early access to playing a game early, especially with a progression-based game, is really stupid, and I don't like it. However, it's like every game has something stupid like that nowadays, so like if the game is good, I will play the game. I think that's the real thing. Like, people care about monetization, but people care more about the game being good, more so. It's like a fucking mobile game. Lost Ark does. I mean, like, there's a lot of mobile games that look really good. It's the way they play that's the problem. Ark is more MOBA than MMO, to be honest. I don't know if that's really true or not. I think that a lot of people just think that because it's an isometric style. And like the imagery and everything semi resembles League. That's about it. Can't get into isometric. Yeah, I know that for some people it can be annoying. 3 buffalo. Time to fucking die. What would your Frankenstein MMO be? I think that like Warcraft has a lot of really good like they have like a large like breadth of content in terms of like completionism stuff, in terms of like transmog, mounts, pets, etc. Like Final Fantasy is good, but it just does not have as many that WoW has. Like WoW just has way fucking more. It's way more expansive. There's just so much more in WoW. So I would say I like that about WoW. I think the Mythic Plus system is something I'd want in a game, minus like some of the reward structure for it. I like the Final Fantasy raid setup, even though I do also like the way that WoW raids are designed. Let's see. What else do I like? Kinda annoying you can't open inventory while it stopped running. Yeah, I think it's just, I think they should have a read-only version of your inventory that you can open up whenever you're running. I think that would be a good solution. Like you can look at it, but you can't, move it around. They should make expedition orbs more attainable. Yeah, of course. I think that it's much more enjoyable running a dungeon with a select group of people than zerging down an NPC with like 40 people in Shattered Mountain while it's stun locked and it just dies and you don't get loot. I think that's very bad game design. And what's the point? The point is that you can do the dungeons and actually have something that's designed for the amount of people that you're doing it with. Would you want a story like Final Fantasy as in your ideal game? Yeah, I mean, why would I not want it? I think that's an interesting thing. Why would I not want the story? You know what kind of a MMO that I'd really like to see? I'd like to see an MMO that tells a story the way that Dark Souls does. I think that'd be so cool. Where like the story is just like this like abstract, like esoteric idea, and you only can really learn the story if you really go out of your way to figure it out. But whenever you do, it's fulfilling and good. So like, for example, the New World story with all the notes and everything and the way that the story is discovered, I think was almost really good. And I think the problem with it is the fact that the story wasn't what a lot of people wanted it to be. And like, this is speaking as someone who's like only taken a cursory glance at it. So of course I don't really know everything about it, but I know enough to know that it's not the Final Fantasy MSQ. Isn't Elden Ring coming out next year? Yeah, it is. It got delayed to February. Seems fine to me. Just bring it out when it's ready. If they've got to delay it again, that's fine. I don't really care. Just bring the game out whenever it's ready to go. Kind of like this game? Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't ready, and they held it back, and it got better and it improved a lot because they held it back. Have you played Bloodborne before? Yeah. Dark Souls does it well. Item description, level design, mob placement, NPC dialogue. They left it up to the community to figure it out. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's really interesting. And there are ways that you could make a story and do that. I don't think it's impossible for them to do. Not at all. AOC will be over-engineered, might feel soulless. I'm afraid of that. It's gonna be hard for Ashes of Creation to have its own identity in terms of design, because there's just so much existing source material for what they're trying to work with. Coolest looking headgear I've seen in the game. I'm not wearing headgear. Oh, on my priest? Wait, my priest? Wait, what? In Warcraft. What is my priest wearing in Warcraft? The Trial of Valor Chosen Dead set, I'm pretty sure. So I forgot Ashes of Creation was a thing. That's good. I think people, like, they overhyped the game too much. And people got... This is generally the way that, like, internet hype goes. Is that you have, like, these, like, really big discrepancies. Like, everybody will love it, and then everybody will hate it. And that's just the way things go. Like, whenever Ashes of Creation was first announced, everybody was super excited. Like, MMOs, it's like this, like, it's like an inverse relationship where the more people know about an MMO, the less they're excited about it. But whenever a brand new MMO comes out and you don't know anything about the game at all, everybody is super hyped up. And then the more they learn, the less they're excited. It doesn't matter what game it is, that's always the case. It's dumb, I forgot that actually. Takes down my weapon. Thoughts on Wrath of the Lich King Classic? Who asked? I mean, Wrath Classic? Who cares? I mean, the game was beaten in 3 days. Like, the PvE content was beaten in 3 days whenever the first season came out, or first raid tier came out. And I don't think it's going to stand up. I think it's going to be... It will be more difficult. There's a lot of things, right? Like, because with Wrath, every expansion, they made raiding easier to do. Like, from a structural standpoint. So, like, for example, in Wrath, you don't have to worry as much about attunements, and you don't have to worry as much about resistance gear and stuff like that. So, Wrath made a lot of that stuff, like, just completely irrelevant. And because of that, you're going to have... Basically, what they would do is they made in Wrath, the main thing you had to do was be good at the game. Much more so than have really good gear, or have, like, unique special gear, or do out of raid content or something like that. You just had to be good at the game. And yeah, enter the raid, that's all it is. That's what I think. Just a second. Alright, good. What's the best MMO to play right now? I'd say either like either play Final Fantasy or WoW or New World. Like each one is good in its own way. I wouldn't really say like, I mean, just look at each game, look at the way each one plays, and then base it off of what you want to play based off of that. The truth is, like, a lot of the WoW changes and stuff like that, I've been very vocal about how ridiculous I think they are. However, for like a average or casual player or whatever, these changes don't really affect you as a casual player. Like, it doesn't really matter. You know, said Wars in the World, actually sad. It's another lag fest. Oh, it was a lag fest last year. I mean, like, this is the first war I ever did was a lag fest. It was a disaster. Just give it time. I mean, I just said it was last year, right? I mean, how much time does it need? Like, I get that, you know, things take time, but at a certain point, I mean, come on. That's all we did with WoW. Yeah, I don't like to... As I said, I think that if you make excuses for a bad game, you'll get a bad game. It's that simple to me. How big profit this was for Amazon? I think that Amazon will... I think this will be good for Amazon in the long run. New World will be. And they'll continue wanting to grow New World, and hopefully the success of the game, because it's undoubtedly has been a successful game. Like, New World has been successful despite such absolute garbage. Like, just like trash questing, fucking awful leveling system. The gathering impressions are really fun, but the fucking other stuff is just terrible. Like, there's so many things wrong with New World, and it's still doing really well. I think that's impressive. It means they're doing something right. Yeah, it's just bugged out the ass. Like, yeah, you get to max level and 2 of the main content things in max level are just fucking garbage. It's so bad, man. Yeah, PV is completely broken, etc. Yeah. Just a second. Give me start relaxing and just grind and play. Yeah, I think it's a really great game for me to just like log on at night and play. And I think also, like, if you want to do the end game dungeons, there's like a huge barrier. Like, what do you need to make like a Lazarus key? Because, like, I'm not even sure. Like, how do you even make a Lazarus key? The stuff from 65 portals. That'll do it. 200 stone cutting and a lot of shards from rifts. Yeah. That'll do it. It's like the more that you add that kind of stuff in, it's like it's cool to an extent, but like for outdoor areas, but I don't know if it's a good idea to like add that much of a barrier to entry to just being able to join a dungeon. It's so hard to know really what to do with something like that. I'm not really sure. Like, are the tuning orbs themselves even a good idea? I don't know. don't know what to do, not have it. So the problem with like not having it, and the reason why people they wanted to do tuning orbs, I think, is because they were worried about nobody going out in the open world. But it's like, if nobody's going out in the open world, I don't think the solution is to make dungeons bad. He'll come back. No one's out in the open world, it's a design issue? Yeah, exactly. Cares about open world though, you can toggle PvP on or off anyway. And thank God for that. If I've said this a number of times, but like any game that has like non-consensual PvP and like that's like just like the only way you can play the game, it's just like it's never really going to be a popular game. Like it's going to have an audience, sure, but it's never going to be popular or probably profitable if it has any degree of like high budget. Do you think there should be forced PvP areas? No, I don't really think so. I think that the only reason why people want forced PvP areas is so they can kill people who otherwise wouldn't want a PvP. I think that the reason what that comes out of is a desire to just kill people that are unprepared or uninitiated, which is like, that's not, it's not like, I don't know, it's just dumb. It was time for PvP, they flipped the script on him. Well, I wouldn't really say it's not fair, because like the game came out and it's like, is it not fair to the minority whenever the majority gets what they want because of the majority, or is it not fair to the majority because people are trying to cater to a minority? It's hard to say. They actually have those areas, they're called forts. Yeah. It's about danger and risk of being in an open world. Yeah, I understand that, but like that's not something that I want to do. And I don't want to have like certain areas in the game force me into that type of gameplay. It's not something that I would enjoy. It would actively make my experience in the game less enjoyable. You just avoid the zone. Yeah, but the thing is, if you avoid the zone, why would people go into the zone if it didn't have unique resources or some form of incentive inside of it? So logically, think about this, right? 1x gather rate. Yeah, so you'd feel stupid for not trying to gather there. Yeah, I just don't really have, I don't place any value in open world PvP and trying to force people into it. I think it's just usually something that people want to do so they can kill people that are under-geared, under-leveled, unwilling for PvP. So you think Albion was a bad game? I never played Albion, I have no idea. You know anything from your perspective? See, that would make... I don't, actually. I don't think that's true at all. I think from a perspective of someone who's seen different games evolve and seen what happens whenever a MMO has PvP like that. So I can give you a lot of examples to prove my point. But I think you can look at two examples, and this is like effectively what happens in Warcraft, and also what happens in Classic WoW as well, is that once you have a system like that with PvP, you have trending towards extremes, because people that are losing won't want to play, and people that are winning will want to play more. So what will that cause things to do? Well, it will cause more people to start playing that are winning, and less people to start playing that are losing, or more people to stop playing that are losing. And what will that cause? That'll cause trending towards extremes, because this is a self-radicalizing problem. It will continuously get worse. It will make itself worse just by the nature of what it is. And it will ultimately cause less people, yes, you're right, it will cause less people overall to play the game as well. And this is exactly what happened. Like, this isn't like my point of view or whatever. Like, this is literally what happened. Gotcha, bitch. In Classic WoW and also in Retail WoW. So to say that this is my perspective is in a way true, but it's also backed up by experience and evidence. Devilstar Mafia? Yeah, and I think the Devilstar Mafia was not a... This is like not a sustainable thing in Classic WoW. Devilstar Mafia was fucking cool though. See, I think a lot of people think that that stuff was cool because it happened a while ago now, and people aren't dealing with the effects of it right now. So people are like, yeah, wow, that was really cool back then. But like, the truth is, whenever it was happening, everybody hated it. No, I remember this very clearly. Like, there were tons of posts in the forums. People were constantly fucking annoyed. That's what it was. People were pissed, yeah. Just a second. People being nostalgic about early 2000s. When they were back then, they were nostalgic about 90s. Yeah, I mean, like, there were some cool things about it, but I think that just overall, PvP servers in Classic WoW were just a spurg fest. Consensual PvP in MMOs doesn't work at all. I think it works well in WoW. I think it works just fine in WoW. You can opt into War Mode if you want. You can queue into a BG if you want. You can queue into Arena if you want. I think it works just fine. Fucking love PvP servers in vanilla. What server did you play on? And what faction were you? PvP servers was a parse fest? Well, so were PvP servers too. That? No, I mean, like, what server? Because you said you liked the server. What server and faction did you play? Put yourself over for PvP. It's not the average person's experience. Well, then why did the same thing happen to people that weren't on my server? On Ravencrest, Horrid, Bloodfeather, a long time ago? Oh, well, you're talking about shit that happened in, like, fucking 15 years ago, man. Like, the game's not this... I guess not the same as it was, bro. Like, it's changed. It's way fucking different. Who would target you all day? Second they'd see you, they get a hard on. Yeah, no, I mean, like, for me personally, like, as a streamer, yes, I hate that stuff because I can't play the game because, like, people are just going to consistently fucking hunt me down and try to, like, interact with me and force me into PvP so they can get attention on my stream. I hate it. Absolutely fucking hate it. However, I think that a lot of other servers had similar problems. Consensual PvP creates too many problems for both player types. I think that, like, for example, something like war mode is fine. Does anybody think war mode in retail WoW is bad? Like, I think it's good. No, yeah, if you're Alliance, it's bad. But is it? Because it gives you more rewards. Like, you're playing at a disadvantage, and because of that, you get more rewards. Seems pretty fair to me. Think it's good because you don't really play? What you're saying, I don't play WoW? Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, the war mode? I played on war mode tons of times. Like, I have all the achievements and everything for, like, doing war mode content. Yeah, that's the truth. Well, it sucks because of server layering. Yeah, that's definitely a problem, but that's not really a problem with the system. That's more a problem with, like, the way the game works. For you in general, Zach, but you don't have good takes on PvP. Well then why do my takes keep getting implemented into games? Why are games so trash now? You think games are trash now? What do you mean? They're not. Hell yeah, I do. What game was super good back then? Like, you're in MMOs of old were way better. No, they weren't. Like, classic WoW literally proved that. Like, that was fucking. That is literally just rose-tinted goggles, man. Like, it's not even true. You see, like, you know what you think is, you know what you really think. Ashwan's fucking call. Yeah, here's the thing, is that your pet favorite MMO that you really, really like playing 10 or 15 years ago, if it was reintroduced into the public today, would be so unfun for you to play. I can almost guarantee it, because the level of optimization and people's understanding of how to play the games now is so much higher, is so much more refined, and is so much more precise that you cannot compare an experience that you had 15 years ago and say that it's congruent with something that could happen again today. It's just not true. You can only do that if you ignore all relevant context. Just because games implement your ideas doesn't mean that it's a good direction. New World being a glaring example. So do you think New World would have been a more successful game if it had non-consensual PvP that you couldn't opt out of? Like everybody was forced into PvP? Yeah. Okay, well, I think how can you say that whenever there are examples that basically say you're wrong? Like, how can you say that? Like, you literally saw what happened with Classic WoW. What do you think is going to happen whenever one server is 2 factions and then the third faction has like 5% of the population? They're all going to quit or transfer. This game's crashing popularity, says I'm right. Okay, so if you want to use that argument, it would have crashed even more if it had non-consensual PvP. Yeah, it would have crashed even more. It's such a bad argument. Why not both PvP and PvE servers? I think if they wanted to do a PvP server, that would be cool. I don't see why not. I mean, there's no reason to not have that option. Yeah, why not? If there's enough people that want to play it, then sure. I mean, like, servers are only 2,000 people. I'm sure they could probably pick up 2,000 people. And if it doesn't work out, they could just shut down the server. Who cares? Move everybody over to a PvE server. No, metagames are... Yeah, of course they will. That's what they always do. The world needs more incentive to fight for PvP all the time. See... I think New World, if anything, they need more incentive for people to do PvP activities. I think the desire for having people get flagged for PvP is purely out of wanting to, like, gank somebody in an unfair circumstance. Which I don't find... This is not something that should be preserved or encouraged. You know what I think they should do for PvP? Add 3v3 arena. Literally zero reason not to add that. Super easy. No trouble whatsoever. Add 3v3, 5v5 arena. I can guarantee you, boring? Yeah, it's way more fun to kill somebody who's at half health trying to gather an herb. That's the spirit. That's the real content right there. HPP, don't want to go out and gathering. Yeah, I just want to play the game. Providers getting attacked while gathering an herb and turning it around, but I feel you. See, like, the thing is that, and this is like Josh Strife Hayes did a video about this, and I completely agreed with him. And like, I would recommend anybody who is like idealizing these like PvP, like super serious PvP like things to like watch that video. I think it's very informative, and it's really well constructed. And it explains why I think that these desires for a PvP only game or, you know, super powerful PvP incentives are generally misguided. Then why Albion works? Is Albion on Steam? How do people play Albion? It's on Steam. How many people? Let me look and see. Tracking what's played. Let's see how Albion's doing. Damn, is that true? Oh, New World's number 3 with 220,000 players. Oh my god, give me a minute. Okay. So we've got... I literally just installed an ad blocker. I don't want to deal with that bullshit. Okay, so 7 days, 1 month. Am I not able to click on it? Maybe since it hasn't been out that long. So it's gone up 512, 540. Wait, has the peak players gone up? Oh, today it went a lot. It was a lot lower. That's really interesting to see peak players actually going up for a number of days, but it could, yeah, the weekend. That's a good point. You can drag the timeline. Yeah, I've never really seen this before. Okay, yeah, oh, yeah, okay, I got it. So this is whenever the game came out. I think it came out on like the 2nd, yeah. So like really on Thursday, so after that Thursday it kind of went down a lot. And this probably, oh, probably like maintenance or something like that. So I guess we'll have to see in like a couple of weeks to see what's going to happen. It's extremely stable. I wouldn't count my chickens before their eggs. Well, I wouldn't. Would you? Probably no content. Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's like a lot of players are going to hit a they're gonna, like, this game's gonna be down to 100k, 200k in months. Yeah, that's possible. Let me see how Albion Online is doing. $3,000 players. It seems like it's no one uses Steam for Albion. Well, that's why I asked. That's exactly why I asked. So it seems like it has like about 7,000 online concurrents. Seems like the game started doing pretty well in like here, April. And I know they had like a promotional event at this time because I got an offer to like play the game for a sponsored stream. And it's just gone down a lot. Most people play off Steam though. Yeah, that could be the case. That's why I asked. Because like Final Fantasy is the same way. Where like it's a very popular game, but it's not played on Steam. Now all I'm saying is that Albion Online is clearly not a very popular game. So I think that to say that Albion Online works and to compare it to New World or World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy is just, I don't think that's a good comparison because of how different the sizes of games are. And I think that smaller games have the ability to cater to a more specific niche, and bigger games don't really have that opportunity to because they're trying to appeal to a larger audience. Going fair though, the budget's also much less than Albion. Yeah, of course, right? And the budget for Valheim was really small too, but there's still millions of people that played it. Or Hades. So overanalyze a game now. Just play the game, volatilize politics, the numbers, it's so bad. Well, I think it does matter, right? If you're trying to, the reason why I bring it up is because people are using a game as an example to counter what I'm saying, and what I'm saying is that this is a way to move forward with a game. Yes, obviously a game could work this way, but if you look at the games that do work this way, they are not popular. So I think if you want to look at numbers, like you're talking about, like, is this a good idea for them to do? Well, then you should look at other games that do it and see how well they're doing. Not very good. $250K monthly active users, according to an article they posted a couple months ago. I don't really I wouldn't really believe that, but maybe they don't. It's hard to say. And they probably posted that like because didn't they have like a huge event or something like that, a huge like a thing that like caused a lot of people to play temporarily. So they probably took a snapshot of that and then they're publishing it as if it's a concurrent thing, but it's probably not, and it was probably just a peak that occurred at the time that they published the article. Which is like technically true, but it's intentionally misleading. Were classic PvP server popular, more popular than PvE? Yeah, they were. Most of the community wanted to play on PvP servers. How large is this peak compared to default value though? It depends, right? Like with New World, New World could have... Yeah, I'm not sure. Because like it's so hard to judge. I think that New World will probably be down to, if I had to guess, average players per day 150, 200K in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. 50k? No, I don't think it's going to be that sharp in 2 to 3 weeks. We can see. I mean, clip it and we'll play the clip in a couple of weeks, see what happens. It's higher than expected. The reason why I don't think it'll be as low is because they will probably but like actually put in the features that the game should have released with, like the Azos staff, tier 5, and outpost rush, which will engage people for a longer period of time. And that's why I'm not rating it as low. New PoE League is coming out. Yeah, I'm sure that'll pull some people away, for sure. People also tend to forget that while WoW might have 1 to 2 million subs, active players have around 200k. I've actually been really surprised. Like, I looked at the WoW subreddit, and it was just so, like, dead. It was crazy. PoE's a bit niche. It is, but it's becoming less niche, especially with the introduction of PoE 2. Because, like, PoE 2, here's what I think is going to happen. I think PoE 2 is going to be a lot more streamlined than PoE 1. And that will probably frustrate some super serious PoE players. But it probably is the right decision for the game. And I think that's whenever the game will be a lot more accessible. Slower gameplay through Axe, more mechanical. I think that's a good thing. PoE, and this is like that was their goal with 3.15, which is like, this is what I said about 3.15, was that I think 3.15 had to happen. Like the game, like you were just like, player power levels were just so ridiculously high. It was just crazy. So, but I think that and what did I say with the last league? What was it again? Expedition. I said that the league after 3.15 will probably be really good. And that's what everybody thinks Scourge is going to be. People are very excited about Scourge League. People are more excited about Scourge League than I feel like sometimes they've been excited about with an expansion. Like with Maven or something like that. Good league, bad league. No, I don't think that's really the issue. I think they just needed a recalibration. We'll have to see though. 2 or 3 years adding too much complexity and customization. Well, and that's what they did, right? They dialed back a lot of the Atlas regions, because the problem with PoE, I think for a lot of people, was that people that play ARPGs, I think generally like a lot of character customization, but whenever you have like these secondary systems like your Atlas and your Watchstones and your like sextants and all of these other things that are outside of just making your character stronger, and these are just like optimization things, you do reach a point where some people kind of get lost in translation there. And it just becomes too, it's like you have to do too many things. It's very simple, right? So you start, so before PoE was like this, and you get the Atlas passives, you get Maven orbs, or the Watchstones, you get, let's see, what are some of the other things, like some of the other things that you're trying to do in the game now that make things take longer. Hard Azeroth, yeah. See, I didn't play the new one. Heist, yeah. You've got Labyrinth, right? Labyrinth has been in the game for a long time. Yeah, Heist. Pantheon's super easy, right? And so basically all it does is it's literally just more walls, right? So once you add in enough walls, some people are like, wow, this is too thick, I don't want to go through this. That's the point I'm making. I think it's pretty simple, isn't it? Too many mechanics, just let me kill some mobs, bro. Exactly. I think that most people, like, where was the fucking clip about Alkaiser talking about Heist League? I wonder if he still has the clip up. Yeah.
They're talking. They're fucking playing Awaken Chain GMP Turbo GMP. It shoots out 86 projectiles and it chains 18 times. And they also have the ability to fly because they have the Flight Quicksilver Adrenaline Turbo Flask that gives them the 800% movement speed. They're just sitting there flying over the map, shooting all these Awakeners. Awaken gems are just plowing out everywhere. And then the fucking Exalted Orb just appears in the middle of the screen. It's like this fucking big, and they click it, and then boom, 100 Exalted Orbs come out, and then all the Exalted Orbs, they click at one time, they all fly into the character, and then 3 Mirror of Calandras appear on the screen. 1, 2, 3. All their items duplicate, and now they can sell them on the trade site. And now they have 10,000 Mirrors of Calandra, but Mirrors of Calandras are peasant currency at this stage. They now have Awakened Mirror of Calandra. What it does is it mirrors an item, and it makes all the rolls T1, and it also adds 2 extra influences. So now you can actually get 16 influences on items. It also adds 2 extra links, so you can get 8 link gear.
Yeah. There it is. Where's the thing where he was talking about... where is it? Like, why players didn't like Heist League. Did that one... Maybe it got deleted. It probably got deleted. Nah. Yeah, I can't search it. Thought heists were fun. Yeah. Heist had bad tracking, which in ARPG is a big no-no. Well, you had to go through like a really small area. I think that was another big factor. It made it really annoying. The only thing I really remember that well about Heist League was like Quinn did like that fucking cosplay of the big guy, and it was so good, man. It was actually so... Clip got deleted? Yeah, it was so fucking good. Search option videos, Twitch. Yeah, it would be great. You gotta play Elden Ring network test? No, I don't want to. I just want to play the game whenever it comes out. The Constitution boots are on screen? I have no idea, bro. These here? That's what I've been wearing for the longest time. Which was for build to actually do it. Bad monster. No, the thing is, like, yeah, Heist was really dumb. Like, you had... Because, like, remember whenever you would kill an enemy and it would increase your alert rating? And then, like, minion builds got completely fucked, so, like, I had to run through with, like, a Quicksilver and also phase run with all my minions out, so it would continuously reset their attacks and they wouldn't kill mobs. It was so stupid. But, like... and then you would run through that, like, little tiny opening, and if you didn't have certain abilities, you would sometimes just get insta-gibbed. Like, I think that PoE, like, one of the good things about a game like PoE is that it gives people, like, it's the same thing I said with Dark Souls, right? Where it says, find the number 4. And a good game allows you to find number 4 by doing 1 plus 3, 3 plus 1, or 2 plus 2. But a bad game says find a number 4